At the edge of the desert, a hidden ocean world is waiting beneath the heat. From above, this sea looks too hot, too dry, and too salty for life. But beneath this burning surface, the ocean is not empty. This ocean is shaped by heat, salt, sunlight, and survival. Above the surface is desert. Below it, another world begins. The moment we enter the sea, the desert disappears. Here, the ocean becomes a city of color, shelter, and movement. Every corner of this sea gives life a place to hide, feed, and survive. In this ocean, survival often begins by moving together. This is the mystery of the Red Sea. How does life flourish in a hot and salty ocean? To answer that mystery, we must look closer at how this ocean builds life from hardship. The reef survives because each tiny organism plays a role in the ocean's larger design. In this ocean, survival begins with finding protection before danger arrives. The open ocean gives them space, but the reef gives them safety. Alone, each fish is fragile. Together, they become harder for the ocean's hunters to break. In this sea, every movement is a decision between feeding and being eaten. The reef is more than beauty. It is a fortress built by life itself. After every moment of danger, the ocean returns to its quiet rhythm. Some creatures survive this ocean not by strength, but through ancient partnerships. In the Red Sea, life survives because every small relationship strengthens the entire ocean world. A single partnership may seem small, but in this ocean, small connections hold the reef together. The reef is not one living thing, but thousands of lives woven through the sea. In this ocean, even movement becomes a language of survival. Where the open sea is dangerous, the smallest spaces become places of safety. In this ocean, survival is not only about strength, it is also about trust. Even in a harsh sea, cooperation can become a powerful survival strategy. Every creature that moves through this sea depends on the health of the reef around it. The ocean current delivers invisible meals to a world that never stops feeding. These tiny animals build the foundation of one of the most resilient ocean habitats on Earth. To understand how life survives in this sea, we must follow the reef from its smallest builders to its greatest challenges. Beyond the reef's beauty, the sea begins to test every life that depends on it. Here, the reef stands between safe shelter and the unknown sea. In this ocean, safety can vanish just a few meters from the reef. The sea brings food, but it also brings pressure that never stops. These corals may look fragile, but they are the architects of survival in this sea. Every mouthful in this ocean depends on a reef strong enough to endure heat and salt. When the sea becomes dangerous, darkness can become protection. Some hunters in this sea survive by waiting where the light cannot reach. In this ocean, survival often means knowing when not to move.
The Red Sea is beautiful because it is alive. And it is alive because every creature has learned to survive.
To survive here, life must understand both the shelter of the reef and the danger of the open sea. Ancient travelers crossed this ocean by instinct, moving through heat, salt, and shifting currents. For some creatures, survival means remembering roots the ocean has held for generations. Others survive this sea by disappearing into the world around them. In this ocean, even the sand can hide a living strategy. Every part of this sea offers a different way to stay alive. Predators are not outsiders here. They are part of the balance that shapes the ocean. In this ocean, fear is not chaos. It is information that keeps life moving.
The Red Sea is not simply beautiful. It is a test that every living thing must answer.
To understand how life survives here, we must first understand the sea itself, its heat, its salt, and its unforgiving power. To understand life in this ocean, we must first understand the heat pressing down from above. This sea receives sunlight with almost no shadow to soften its power. Around this ocean, the land is dry, and fresh water is rare. With little river water entering the sea, salt remains behind. Every day, the sun pulls water upward, but the salt stays in the ocean. This is why the Red Sea becomes saltier than many other ocean waters. For marine life, this salt is not just a background, it is a constant challenge. In shallow water, heat and light can become as powerful as any predator. Here, even shade can be a survival tool. Life survives in this ocean by using every small difference in temperature, light, and shelter. The reef creates micro-worlds inside the sea, each one offering a different chance to live. These corals endure conditions that would weaken many reefs elsewhere. A reef begins with tiny animals that must balance salt, heat, and hunger. Even in clear water, the ocean carries invisible food through the reef. What looks like stone is actually a living structure fighting to remain alive. The reef changes the ocean around it, turning harsh water into habitat. Inside the reef, the sea becomes slower, safer, and easier to survive. Step beyond the shelter, and the ocean becomes demanding again. Every second in this ocean requires energy, balance, and adaptation. In this sea, the reef is not only a home, it is protection from the ocean itself. Every breath in this ocean must manage salt, oxygen, and heat. Small choices help life survive in a sea that never stops testing it. The surface may look calm, but it controls the world below. Too little light would starve the reef. Too much heat can threaten it. Life here depends on balance, enough sunlight to grow, not enough heat to fail.
Even resilient reefs carry signs of the pressure placed upon them. In this ocean, survival is never permanent. It must be renewed every day.
Depth offers relief from light, but it brings its own challenges. The deeper ocean gives less heat and less light, forcing life to change again. As conditions change, the ocean chooses different survivors. In this ocean, some creatures survive by turning beauty into defense. Warning colors are another language written into the ocean. The Red Sea is not one environment, but a staircase of changing conditions. From the surface to the depths, heat, salt, light, and pressure shape every life. Life survives here by finding the exact layer of ocean it can endure.
Away from the reef, the sea becomes wider, emptier, and harder to read.
In open water, survival depends on movement, awareness, and the strength to keep going.
The reef offers safety, but the wider ocean connects every part of the Red Sea.
Now that we understand the seal's heat and salt, we can enter the reef itself, where survival becomes a living city. The reef creates micro-worlds inside the sea, each one offering a different chance to live. A reef begins with tiny animals that must balance salt, heat, and hunger.
A reef begins with tiny animals that must balance salt, heat, and hunger. Even in clear water, the ocean carries invisible food through the reef.
What looks like stone is actually a living structure fighting to remain alive.
The reef changes the ocean around it, turning harsh water into habitat.
Inside the reef, the sea becomes slower, safer, and easier to survive.
Step beyond the shelter, and the ocean becomes demanding again. Every second in this ocean requires energy, balance, and adaptation.
In this sea, the reef is not only a home, it is protection from the ocean itself. Every breath in this ocean must manage salt, oxygen, and heat.
Small choices help life survive in a sea that never stops testing it.
In this ocean, shade can be as important as food. The surface may look calm, but it controls the world below. Too little light would starve the reef. Too much heat can threaten it. Life here depends on balance. Enough sunlight to grow, not enough heat to fail. Even resilient reefs carry signs of the pressure placed upon them. In this ocean, survival is never permanent. It must be renewed every day.
Depth offers relief from light, but it brings its own challenges. The deeper ocean gives less heat and less light, forcing life to change again.
As conditions change, the ocean chooses different survivors.
Here, life becomes quieter, slower, and harder to find.
In this ocean, some creatures survive by turning beauty into defense.
Warning colors are another language written into the sea.
The Red Sea is not one environment, but a staircase of changing conditions.
From the surface to the depths, heat, salt, light, and pressure shape every life. Life survives here by finding the exact layer of ocean it can endure. Away from the reef, the sea becomes wider, emptier, and harder to read. In open water, survival depends on movement, awareness, and the strength to keep going. The reef offers safety, but the wider ocean connects every part of the Red Sea. In this ocean, every journey eventually returns to the reef. The reef turns a harsh sea into a place where life can pause. And inside these coral walls, the ocean becomes a shelter built by living animals. For the smallest creatures, survival begins in spaces too narrow for danger to enter. The reef is not a backdrop. It is alive, working every moment against the sea. Here, light is both a gift and a pressure that life must balance. From tiny polyps, the ocean builds a city strong enough to face extreme conditions. This is how life answers the Red Sea, by building structure, shelter, and connection. The harsher the sea becomes, the more important this living city becomes. Now, we enter the reef itself, where the Red Sea turns hardship into one of the ocean's most crowded worlds. Inside the reef, the Red Sea becomes one of the ocean's most crowded living cities. Every coral tower becomes a street, a shelter, and a feeding ground. In this ocean city, movement is constant because life must never stop responding. The smallest passages in this sea can become the safest places to grow. For young life in this ocean, survival begins by staying hidden. The city is built by tiny animals too small to command attention, but powerful enough to shape the sea. A reef city does not rise from stone. It grows from living mouths. Generation after generation, coral turns the ocean floor into architecture. Inside these tunnels, the open sea becomes quieter, slower, and easier to survive. Every hidden passage in this ocean leads to another world of life. Color in this ocean is not decoration. It helps life recognize, warn, and belong. In this reef city, some lives survive by staying close to one trusted partner. Even in a crowded ocean, survival can depend on cooperation. Here, trust becomes a service, and service becomes a way to live. The reef city has rules written not in words, but in behavior.
In this sea, even stillness is full of motion. Soft corals turn the ocean current into movement, shelter, and food.
In this sea, even stillness is full of motion. Above the reef, thousands of small bodies become one protective shape. In this ocean, survival can be found in numbers, speed, and perfect timing. A reef city is full of life,
but every open space carries risk.
The reef does not remove danger. It gives life places to escape.
After danger passes, the ocean city returns to its quiet work.
Beneath the fish, another layer of the city works close to the ground.
The reef survives because even the smallest cleaners remove, recycle, and reuse.
Life on the reef is not always fast. Some survival happens slowly, close to the seafloor. Even the open sand between corals becomes part of the city.
A home in this ocean may be a coral tower, a tunnel, or a hole in the sand.
The reef city is not built from one habitat, but from many connected shelters. Some fish feed on the reef while also helping keep it in balance.
In this ocean, nothing is wasted for long.
A crowded city survives when each life finds its own place and purpose.
Even in a shared reef, space is valuable.
In this ocean, survival can depend on defending a space no larger than a hand. Some homes in this ocean are not made of stone, but of living protection. Partnership allows fragile lives to survive in a sea filled with risk. The reef survives because thousands of relationships strengthen the whole ocean world. The current connects every street of this underwater city.
Food moves through this ocean as a hidden river inside the sea.
One current can feed animals above the reef and animals fixed to the reef itself.
The deeper we look into the reef, the more crowded the ocean becomes.
In this ocean city, disguise can be as powerful as speed. To survive here, some creatures become part of the landscape. Every layer of this city uses a different answer to the same question: how to live.
As light changes, the rhythm of the reef city begins to change with it. In this ocean, every change in light signals a change in behavior.
The reef city never truly stops. It only changes who is active. Crowded, connected, and constantly changing, this reef is the Red Sea's answer to hardship. This living city shows how life survives in heat and salt, by becoming connected. But every city has borders, and beyond the reef, survival becomes more dangerous. To understand this ocean fully, we must now follow the hunters, the hunted, and the fragile chain that keeps everything alive.
At the edge of the reef, the Red Sea reveals another side of survival.
Here, open water gives freedom, but it also removes protection.
For the hunted, survival begins before the predator appears. Together, thousands of small lives can confuse a hunter's eyes. In this ocean, danger can arrive first as a shadow. The reef does not end the threat. It gives life a place to react. In this sea, surviving once does not mean danger is gone.
Every calm moment in the ocean is only a pause between decisions.
Some hunters survive by waiting where the reef hides them.
In the Red Sea, patience can be as powerful as speed. A predator does not need to move often when the ocean brings food past its door. The reef is a shelter for the hunted, but it is also a hiding place for hunters. Another hunter waits inside the reef itself, using darkness as protection.
In this sea, stillness can hide hunger. Above the hidden hunters, the reef continues to pulse with life.
Some predators do not hide their danger. They display it. Warning is another form of power in this ocean.
Beyond the coral, the scale of hunting begins to change.
The open ocean often looks empty before it reveals what is moving through it. The shark enters not as a monster, but as part of the ocean's balance. A predator's presence changes the behavior of everything around it. Fear is not chaos here. It is information that keeps life alive.
When the predator passes, the reef does not forget. It resets.
Life in this ocean survives by returning to motion again and again.
Not every survivor in this sea depends on speed.
On the ocean floor, invisibility can be the safest defense.
Some animals survive by becoming almost invisible until movement is necessary.
In the Red Sea, one creature's path can open food for another.
The food chain is not a straight line. It is a web moving through the whole ocean. Even leftovers become energy in a sea where nothing can be wasted. In this ocean, a shadow can change everything.
Predation shapes the ocean, even when no chase happens. Survival here is not one victory. It is a rhythm repeated all day. Speed matters when the distance between hunter and hunted becomes a heartbeat. The hunted survive by knowing the shape of their city. Failure is also part of hunting in this sea. The ocean looks calm because every creature is constantly adjusting. Not every large animal in this ocean is a hunter. Survival also belongs to ancient travelers that cross the reef without rushing. Some lives survive by moving between worlds, carrying the reef's story into open water. The Red Sea food chain is not just about killing. It is about balance. Every layer of this ocean feeds another, protects another, or challenges another. Balance is held not by peace, but by constant pressure. The smallest lives keep the reef working, even while larger animals shape its fear. Food, fear, and movement
connect this ocean more tightly than it first appears. The reef survives because every hunter, every prey, and every hidden cleaner has a place. This chain of survival begins on the reef, but it reaches far beyond it. To see how this ocean renews life, we must leave the hunters behind and follow the young into the shallows. Beyond the hunters, the Red Sea holds quieter places where life begins again. In the shallows, the ocean becomes gentler, but survival still requires shelter. Here, the Red Sea builds another kind of city, not from coral, but from grass. For young fish, each blade of seagrass can become a wall, a hiding place, and a beginning. In this sea, young life learns that safety is never far from danger. The ocean nursery is not simple. It is made of grass, sand, burrows, shadows, and instinct.
Even in the nursery, the smallest workers keep the sea alive.
This meadow protects life by slowing the water and breaking the view of hunters. The Red Sea does not renew itself only on reefs. It renews itself in these quiet green fields.
Where the sea meets the coast, another shelter rises from the shallows. Mangrove roots turn the edge of the sea into a fortress for the young.
In this maze, small bodies have an advantage over larger hunters.
For young life, survival begins with patience, caution, and a place to disappear.
This is where the desert, the coast, and the ocean quietly meet.
Young creatures survive by moving from one shelter to the next.
The nursery works because no single shelter stands alone.
Not all visitors to the nursery are young. Some return here across a lifetime. The Red Sea's shallow meadows feed, shelter, and guide life at many ages. Movement connects the nursery to the reef to the open sea, and the sea to survival. In the shallows, hiding can be as important as swimming.
Even a silent movement can release food into the ocean.
In this sea, every disturbance can become a meal. The shallows may look quiet, but they are one of the ocean's busiest beginnings.
For the young, the ocean is not yet a wide world. It is a narrow shelter. The nursery protects life not by removing danger, but by giving the young places to vanish.
After danger passes, the nursery begins again.
As young creatures grow, the path toward the reef begins to open.
The journey from nursery to reef is not one leap, but many careful crossings.
Here, young life begins to trade grass for coral.
Every small coral patch teaches the skills needed for the larger reef city. The Red Sea survives because its habitats are connected, each one preparing life for the next.
Roots, grass, sand, and coral are not separate worlds. They are one coastal ocean network.
The mangroves catch what the sea carries and turn it into shelter and food.
At the edge of the sea, fallen life becomes food for new life.
The young do not grow in one place. They move through a chain of protection. Every crossing teaches the young how to read the sea. When the young reach coral, they enter a world more crowded, more complex, and more dangerous. The nursery does not stand apart from the reef. It feeds the reef with new life. Life survives here because the sea gives it more than one chance to grow.
This is how the Red Sea renews itself, through connected habitats that protect the next generation. But the Red Sea is not only shallow nurseries and sunlit reefs. Beyond the nurseries, the ocean drops away into places far less understood. The same sea that shelters young life also hides deep and extreme worlds below.
To complete the story of survival, we must now leave the sunlight and follow the Red Sea into its hidden depths.
Now, the Red Sea will reveal its deepest secret, life where heat, salt, darkness, and mystery meet. This water is so salty and dense that it rests beneath the ocean like a hidden lake.
Life survives here by cooperating when strength alone is not enough. Life survives here through partnerships older than memory.
Life survives here by building shelter where the sea is harsh.
For many animals, survival means knowing where not to go. In the deep sea, distance from danger can be the difference between life and death. Even in the quietest parts of the ocean, life finds surfaces to hold on to. The farther we descend, the less the ocean looks like the world above. Some of the smallest lives may be the strongest survivors in the Red Sea. Here, survival is not abundance. It is endurance. Life survives here by moving together when danger is near. Here, survival may mean surrendering to the movement of the sea. At the bottom, the Red Sea becomes another world entirely.
This deep ocean is not crowded like the reef, but it is not lifeless. Around these extreme pools, life must adapt to chemistry that would overwhelm many creatures.
The Red Sea teaches that life can shrink, hide, and change rather than disappear. Even here, far below the reef, life depends on the ocean above. As light returns, the ocean becomes crowded once more.
Survival here is not one strategy, but many strategies layered together.
Food from above sinks slowly through the sea, carrying energy into darkness.
They do not need coral towers, sunlight, or open water. They survive where conditions become extreme. At this boundary, the ocean separates into layers that many animals cannot cross. Every layer of this ocean holds a different answer to the same challenge. Even in this dark ocean, life is still present, only smaller and harder to see.
Here, salt is no longer just a challenge. It becomes a boundary of life. Now, the Red Sea carries us away from sunlight and into its hidden depths.
To understand survival, we must connect the deepest darkness back to the sunlit sea. Then, the Red Sea reveals one of its greatest mysteries, a pool of water beneath the sea. Where light is stronger, the Red Sea builds complexity from color and movement.
Down here, the sea becomes quieter, darker, and harder to understand. From the deep floor to the reef wall, life changes shape with every meter.
Down here, life survives by using less energy, moving less often, and hiding more completely. Now the reef no longer looks simply beautiful. It looks resilient. Every relationship strengthens the ocean world around it.
Life survives here because the reef is renewed by the shallows.
Life survives here by giving the young protected places to begin. Life survives here because habitats are connected, not isolated. At the edge of the desert, the ocean protects its future.
The answer is not found in one place, but in the connection between all places. Heat, salt, light, darkness, danger, and shelter all shape this ocean together. Life survives in the Red Sea because it adapts at every scale. Some lives endure by moving through the ocean with ancient patience. Some survive by blending with the seafloor and moving only when the moment is right. Some survive by hunting and by keeping the entire ocean in balance. The Red Sea is alive because every creature responds, adjusts, and continues. This is how life survives in a hot and salty sea, not alone, but connected. What looked impossible from above becomes extraordinary beneath the surface. The Red Sea is not life in comfort. It is life shaped by challenge. Above, the desert is silent. Below, the ocean continues to live. The Red Sea survives because life here has learned to use every layer of the ocean. Heat does not end the story. Salt does not end the story. Life finds a way through both.